All right. Good morning. Well, I guess afternoon in a lot of cases for everybody. Rich, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Perfect. So, all right. This is it's noon here, Central Time. We're going to kick this off. I just got a couple of quick things as a bunch of the callers are coming on. So, real quick, I wanted to remind everybody that we do have Mark and Mary scheduled for a guest networking event coming up as the masterminds are approaching us, November 15th and 16th. That's the Agent Masterminds in Austin, Texas. And I wanted to remind everybody on that. I think the biggest advantage right there is I know a lot of team leaders get recruits and get guests to the two big events, which is the family reunion and Men Mega Camp, of course. And it's hard, I think, sometimes to get some face time. This is a much smaller venue, much more intimate. And with Mark and Mary in there, you're going to be able to get a lot of face time if you can get, as you can get anybody down to this event. And it's a short event. It's only a one-night deal. They can fly in on Monday morning. It's an afternoon on Monday and then the morning of Tuesday, and that's it. So the Agent Mastermind is pretty powerful. And that Monday night, we're going to have this networking event reception with Mark and Mary, so you can get, it'd be really powerful. You can get right with them with your folks. So wanted to remind everybody on that. More details on that are on the Facebook Team Leader page. So if you're not there, get on there. And we'll get you approved, and then you can take a look at all the details. So, anyways, with that said, I know time is ticking. So Rich, how about we start everybody off and ask for wins and successes? How about that?
Sure, absolutely. So do they need to push *6 to come off of mute if you've got a win or success, or how does that work?
That's exactly right. *6, he brings you off mute, and *6 puts you back on. So let's open up. Let's get the blood pumping.
All right, guys, come off of mute, share with us a success and a win. This call, again, is for you. These series of calls are going to be, masterminds. It's going to be, highlighting your success, sharing ideas, and not just my ideas, Stephen's ideas, but your ideas as well. So, let's participate in this call. That's the whole purpose of it. So who's got a win or success? *6 to come off of mute. Win or success, guys. Who's recruiting cappers?
It's happening out there. I'm getting a ton of messages that whether it be the onesie, twosies, or there's several that have gotten 10, 11 already.
Absolutely. In fact, while we're waiting for somebody to chime in, I'll just tell you about one that email one of my clients sent me yesterday. Rebecca Potter out of Florida, right? We've heard from her in the past.
Hey, Rich. It's Rebecca.
There you go.
Hey, I got 11 cappers.
Woo-hoo!
Yes.
And what did you tell me yesterday? Those 11 cappers are going to add up to how much company dollar?
$198,000.
Since Mega Camp, she's recruited 11 cappers and generated $198,000 for the Market Center, guys.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And we're going to have you on the call next week, correct?
Yes, Tuesday. Looking forward to it.
All right, everybody. That's the first you've heard of it. Tuesday. We're going to get it all set up. We'll send the announcements out, but you're going to hear how you did it, and that's going to be awesome.
Awesome, and I'm glad that you're doing a call, Rebecca, because she's only netted 24 agents already this month. That's it. So I'm sure you can get some good tips from her. So awesome. All right, who else has a winner success? Come on, guys. Who's recruited some cappers? I know there's, again, like Stephen said, there's a lot of you that have recruited 5, 6, 8, 10 cappers because we're working with a lot of you guys, and we hear those successes. Anybody else have some wins or successes? There's over 100 people on this call, guys. Come on. *6. All right. How about challenges? What are some of the challenges that you're having as you go on this journey of recruiting cappers and implementing the plan that we discussed on our call? What are some of the challenges, guys?
Hey, Rich. It's Gary Revis. Can you hear me?
Hey, Gary. How are you?
I'm good. After hearing Rebecca, I didn't want to share because I don't feel like I have the success she has, but I have had some success since Mega Camp and have recruited 4 cappers since then. So
great job.
Nice job.
To to work, and I have a lot of appointments, and I have been meeting with cappers every day from the system that you and I talked about before. I think that one of the challenges that I've been having is that I get people to the, almost to the point where they see the value, and it's a lot of, I want to wait and see what's happening with my office. Also, I'm really getting a battle from the brokers on the other side. They are fighting me tooth and nail. I mean, the owners of their offices are meeting and saying they'll do one-on-one coaching with people, giving them referrals to try to keep them. So it's definitely hand-to-hand combat with the brokers of the people that I'm recruiting.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to put it. I mean, it is hand-to-hand combat because it's retention season as much as it's recruiting season. So the smart brokers out there are doing everything they can to try to keep their people because they know that everybody's going after their people. So it's as much of an exciting time as it can be a little bit frustrating because, now the gloves are off for some of your competitors out there. But here's the thing, guys, and thanks for bringing that up, Gary, because everybody, has that challenge to some degree. And really remember, if you're taking them through, the questions, the needs analysis, that consultation, and you're turning that into a conversation and you're probing down and drilling down deep enough, we've got to take them to that place to where they recognize their reality, guys. Because if they don't recognize their reality, then, again, we're just kind of going back and forth with, now the broker's giving me a referral and all these types of things, instead of, the fact of the matter is that you're off track, you're not accomplishing your goals, okay? And you haven't been, in some cases, for a couple years, their business trajectory has been flat or has been going in the opposite direction. So when you've got them to recognize that and admit that and see that clearly, when you can handle an objection like my broker, offered to give me a higher split, or they're going to coach me, or they're going to give me this referral, or a better space in the office, or whatever, out of desperation, now you can go through that process of, it's interesting out of desperation that your broker is saying he's going to coach you now when, he hasn't been doing that for over 2 years and your business has been dropping. Okay, and it's interesting that now that you're moving towards the next chapter in your career, that the broker's trying to save you and saying here's a referral, and just a quick fix and not a long-term solution. So my question to you, Mr. Candidate, is your income and your business is off 30%, and your goal is to get your income to X, so that you can, and then talk about their why, so that you can, plug your kids into that private school. So if that's what your goal is, how is your broker all of a sudden at the 11th hour here saying that I'm going to throw you a referral, I'm going to, try to coach you? I mean, are you comfortable with, after 2 years when your business has dropped that significantly, that's going to be the solution? And then remember also, guys, that before we get to handling objections, we've needed to take them through that 10-step process of explaining your benefits, your presentation, and getting them to quantify what those benefits will mean for them in their business, because that's the ammunition that you have to trump objections, right? So it's really the ammunition from the needs analysis, the why, their motivation, their reality, and what they've quantified our benefits will add to their business and do for their business, and we have that tangible number. So then we've got an additional, 10 transactions at $5,000 a transaction. We've got, $50,000 in additional dollars, $1,000 a week. So when somebody says, I want to wait till the beginning of the year, not a problem, but you've acknowledged and you see yourself adding $50,000 over the next 12 months by plugging into our systems and tools and that extra 10 deals. That's $1,000 a week that you're losing. So does it make sense over the the next 10 weeks before the new year that you would lose $10,000. Does that make sense? With your goal being whatever it is, and you repeat that. So remember, guys, is that we've got to get the ammunition before we start handling objections, because that's where our power is. If we don't get that, and then the brokers start offering this and offering that, it's just a verbal tennis match, and it becomes, a lot less powerful. What other questions do you guys have and challenges? Other challenges. Are you guys making enough contacts? Let's just kind of start there. That was point 1 from our plan, right? You got to make enough capper contacts to get enough capper appointments or at bats if you want to hit your 10. Okay, are you making enough contacts?
Hey, good. Did you open it up for a question about a challenge? Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You're live. Go for it.
This is Rich from Harrisburg, PA. I'm actually wrapping up our FSO here as well. Had a great time. But anyway, a question that came to mind as I'm making calls and setting up, what are the key things that I should have researched about a capper before I reach out and make that first contact?
Okay. Anybody want to share? Let's kind of turn it into a mastermind. Anybody have any thoughts? Gary, anybody? Rebecca, anybody on the line want to share? Do you do any research? Do you just make the calls? Is it important? Anybody have any ideas? *6, guys, to come off of mute.
Hey, this is Rebecca. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I know what I did because I'm in a very small market. So I talked with the cappers that were in my office, because a lot of times the cappers outside of the office, they, communicate with a lot of the people inside my office. They mingle and they do a lot of socials and mixers together. So I found out what some of their hot buttons were, and whenever I did that, I was able to go and, I don't want to say attack, but come at the cappers on the outside with, so how are things working for you in your business planning? Because I knew that business planning with one of them was a struggle. And, of course, they would come back, well, it's not. I'm not doing well. And I said, I can be the person to help you get there.
Okay, so you had some sort of a common denominator that you already knew of, because you're getting referrals from your agents, or you're talking to your agents about these different people in terms of what their perceived needs are, right?
Right.
Okay. Anybody else do anything with prep for capper calls?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Joe Loomer in Augusta, Georgia.
Hey, Joe?
One of the things I do is, first of all, I've got their last year's production for the entire market area for all the agents, and I've got what they've done year to date here. And I'll take a look. I've tried to friend every single agent in town on Facebook. Most of them have accepted, and the other ones haven't been trained to turn their privacy settings correctly, so I can still check what they've been up to.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes turn a cold call into a warm call, but either way, when I sit down with them, I'll go through their keep in mind my 2 competitors in town are traditional brokerages.
Mm-hmm.
So folks are on a 50-50, and their reward comes the following year, and they get reset if they don't match their production. So it's a fish in the barrel when you get them in the room. It's just getting them in the room.
Sure. Okay, so you've got opportunities because of rollbacks and this kind of thing. So timing's of the essence for you, and so that's an opportunity when you know that about your competitors. So knowing your competitors is important. A lot of you, may do, broker metrics and take a look at what their production is and see what the trajectory of their business has been over the last 12, 24 months. In my, my view, knowledge is power, but you don't want it to be the thing, the research that you're doing so much research that you end up not making the calls because you run out of time as well. So, take that with a grain of salt. I mean, be prepared enough that you feel confident that you'll pick up the phone in the first place, but also don't waste all your time trying to know everything you can about somebody before you pick up the phone, because by that time you never pick up the phone, right? And then the other thought I wanted to share with you on that note is that the hot buttons of the experienced agent, what are they? What are the hot buttons of an experienced agent, of a capper? What are they looking for? Because they don't want to move. Okay, the ones that want to move, we're going to get in front of anyways because we're making calls, right? But I'm talking about the mass majority that aren't even consciously thinking about moving right now. What are the hot buttons that they have? What are they looking to accomplish?
To make more money in less time.
Okay, to make more money and have more time freedom. Isn't that what we're all looking for in real estate? Is the perfect combination of the most amount of money and the least amount of time. Okay, so understand that you can communicate around those two topics or areas with any agent and create curiosity, regardless of the trajectory of their business. For example, before the market shifted and money was falling out of the sky, were we recruiting experienced agents? Our company. Sure we were. We were exploding. Why? Because agents wanted more money and more time freedom, even when they were giving away money because the business was crazy. Now that the market shifted, do agents want more money and in some cases also more time freedom? Sure. So the hot buttons of the experienced agent and cappers never change. Yeah, I want more business. That's all derivatives of I want more income. I want more money. We're independent contractors. We go to work for a reason, and we want to make the most that we can in the least amount of time so that we can have the best quality of life that we want and that we feel we deserve. That's kind of the nature of being in real estate, right? Independent contractor. So understand that you can do all the research in the world on an agent, but at the end of the day, the way that you're going to get them curious enough to meet with you is by focusing around the money or the time freedom in terms of the ideas and the strategies and coming to sit down and talk with you is going to be based on they're going to walk out with ideas and strategies that are going to position them or give them a competitive edge to possibly make more money or have more time freedom, which is why we use testimonials and evidence, which is why we talked about the post-mega camp script. Just in Austin, Texas, with 10,000 of the top agents in the country, they're sharing key strategies and ideas that they're using to explode their business as we go into the fourth quarter. See, that's benefit evidence. That's creating curiosity because it's about people winning, making more money. So now I'm curious on what are those ideas? What are those strategies? So, long answer to that question is do what makes you feel comfortable, but don't spend a ton of time doing so much research that you don't have any time to make any calls because the clock's ticking. If you look at the holidays and you look at a calendar, we've got about 7 weeks left, which means that we probably need to be having 10 capper appointments a week if we want to hire 10 more cappers between now and the end of the year because we're running out of time, and we've got to really focus on it. So ask yourself, the first point of the plan that I shared last week was you've got to make enough appointments, right? And now you need about 10 capper appointments every week to get 10 capper hires in the next 7 weeks. Now, obviously, if you've already hired 5 and you're only going to go after 5 more, you can cut those numbers in half, but I would suggest continue at that pace because why not recruit 15 or 20? That just positions you in the market center to explode in the first quarter, right? And you can set up your entire year by what you can accomplish in the next 7-8 weeks, guys. Okay. The other thing that we talked about is to hold mastermind, top producer type of events and workshops between now and the end of the year. Last week we talked about holding 3 between now and the end of the year, 1 in October, 1 in November, 1 in December. Okay. Well, now because October's almost over, we probably have 2. Make sure you're doing at least 2 workshops or events where not only are you going to invite your agents, but you're going to invite cappers, experienced agents to those workshops. They will show up in the fourth quarter to a workshop. They will, because they're looking for ideas, they're looking for strategies going into the new year as well as finishing strong. So, layer that in. Add a mastermind, top producer panel or something if you don't have anything that's conducive to attracting an experienced agent or a capper on your training calendar. But you want to get those events calendared. Okay? We also talked about getting out and seeing the cappers in the field. Get out and see them. The holiday, functions are going to start happening, the board events, broker tour, open house. Get out and see the cappers. Okay, so some of you that I'm working with, right, have said, Guy, I can't get these people to answer the phone, and so forth. Well, then go out and see those people. Don't just have one strategy that, they didn't answer the phone, so I guess I can't hit my goal. Go out and find them, right? We talked about sending out, right, the market navigator, 7 reasons to buy, right? We talked about, getting the white paper. We talked about sending out those great shelf life pieces to cappers and calling and following up with them. We talked about asking your agents, your ALC and affiliates for referrals, capper referrals, and specifically mobilizing your ALC to commit to 1 capper hire between now and the end of the year. We talked about that as well. So, are you helping your ALC? Are you helping your agents grow and helping them with their business this time of year so that they want to help you and help the market center? Right? We talked about, really getting involved with them and build relationships with your agents. Give them value, and then they'll support you as well. We talked about email drips. In the fourth quarter, you should be sending out at least 1 thing a week, but it needs to be powerful. Either some of these great pieces we talked about that you can send electronically, Market Navigator, some of those different pieces, either mail them hard copy or ones that we can send electronically, send those. But I would layer in hire announcements, agent testimonials, agents winning because of, our tools and your environment and your leadership. I would send out either a hire announcement, an agent testimonial, or one of these great pieces, or an invitation to one of the great workshops that I'm doing between now and the end of the year. That would be my drip campaign over the next, 10 weeks. Because you all could come up with, 1 or 2 invitations, right, because we're going to have a couple events. You could all come up with, at least 5 or 6 testimonials, and we could also, put together a monthly, this is who's joined us with their photos each month. So there's 3 more. So there's your 10. Because what that does is that sends the congruent message that people are winning, people are growing, we have momentum, and people are validating that they're growing and winning, which is why they're joining. And there's the hire announcements. And what we do is we help coach and train and send out great quality pieces, educational pieces to help support our agents. And all that's being done with all these different things we just talked about because it's a congruent message. And that'll help as you move forward and make your calls and go out and see people and do all these other things we talked about. So that was the plan we talked about last week. Does anybody have any quick questions or additional challenges that you'd like to cover? Okay. What I'd also suggest, guys, is those of you that are looking at, plugging into some recruiting support systems, not only to finish this year, but as you look at 2011 or doing your budgets and your planning, go to our MAPS coaching website, www.mapscoaching.com, and take a look at the Total Recruiting Solution program, where we're combining all the great recruiting support programs into one program, because we're going to start that in November. Does anybody have any last questions or comments? Yes.
I'm not muted, right? Am I muted?
Nope, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We've got bold here right now, and I have 5 guests in bold, 3 from one company, and those 3 are megas and cappers. And their broker found out yesterday that about 2 of them, I don't think he knows about the 3rd person, but he called one last night and wanted them to come in and talk to him today, but I'm just thinking that the pot is about to boil over. One of the guys he found out about also, he and his wife came to Mega Camp, and I just feel like it's just at the point of boiling over where we've got all these people that have been coming to our shift classes, Mega Agent Camp, and now Bold, and I just
you're there.
I'd really like to close all of them and get them over here, and I know that the broker is figured out what's going on, and he's over there today meeting with them. So do you have any suggestions or recommendations on?
First of all, great job. That's the whole point and reason why you want to get people plugged into our events and our things and stuff and that you have going on, because the truth, the truth is the truth, and they're getting value from our educational events, and that's creating credibility and validity, with you and our company. So that broker can't take that away from you, regardless of what happens. In terms of how to accelerate the process, again, when they're coming to our educational event, that creates a platform for you to have conversations, guys. Conversations. What did you think of the event? What are you experiencing in Bold? And talking to them. Well, I really like this. I really like that. It was very valuable. The workshop that I just went to, super. What's the one or two things that you're implementing? Okay, and would it make sense, or does it make sense to you that if you were plugged into this type of environment, right, Bold, let's say, or one of these workshops, and you had access to this types of training and these types of concepts and, other agents, just like you that are trying to grow and that kind of energy, would that impact your business? How so? Do you think you could do any additional transactions, by being in that type of an environment where there's like-minded people like you that are trying to win and grow and practicing and role-playing and prospecting and lead generating, or classes, like you just attended? Sure. Because they have to say yes because they saw value in the event because they went to it. So then they say, well, sure. Well, how many do you think you could add to your business conservatively in the next 12 months if you had this type of an environment like you're experiencing in Bold, which is what we've created as our culture in our market center? Gosh, I don't know. I could probably do, 8 more transactions in the next 12 months. Super. 8 more transactions. What's your average gross commission? Well, it's $5,000 a deal. Interesting. So you're talking about $40,000 in additional income just by being in the right environment. You see where I'm going with that? I'm just in a conversation because I've already been teed up because they saw value in whatever they attended. So that's your next conversation, is just talk to them about what their experience has been in our events or in Bold, and would that impact their business if they could be in that type of an experience or environment on a regular basis, and how so?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Anything else? Stephen, do you want to just real quickly announce what the dates are of the next 4 calls that we have between now and the end of the year?
I can do that. Let me grab my sheet really quick so I don't make any errors on that. An email did go out today, by the way, everybody, and there was one small change on there that we will make on the upcoming announcements. But here's what we've got. On the next call of the Mastermind calls like this is on November 5th. November 5th. After that, November 19th. Then December 3rd. And then December 17th. And those are all on Fridays at this exact time, the noon time, and the same number is going to prevail. So you've got all the information, trying to keep it as simple as possible so we're not bouncing around on you. Hey, Rich, do we want to ask and see if we can open up and just see who's got either an aha or, better yet, what their next step that they're going to implement right now?
Sure. Anybody that wants to share what kind of aha, or if this was a valuable call to you for you today, jump on, and then let's star 6 and share with us.
Hey, Rich, Randy, can you hear me?
Hey, Randy, how are you?
Doing good, brother. How you doing?
Wonderful.
Hey, a huge aha I had was putting all the cappers. I realized how many days are left in the year, and it became obvious that if we didn't get on it, it was going to pass us by. So I put all the cappers on a board in front of me in my office, and in our market center, a small MLS, we've only have about 130 approachable cappers. So we put those all on the wall, alphabetical order with their cell numbers, so I look at it every day, and I realized how many people I actually had to call a day was double of what I was actually doing to achieve the goal by the end of the year. So by getting that in front of me, it's been hugely successful. We've netted 5 this year already, or this month already, I take that back, and hired a capper yesterday. We've got 5 capper interviews we had this week, and that's the most I've had in months. So by having it right in front of me, it was a huge aha that, time is really of the essence here, and we don't have a lot of time before the end of the year, so we've got to get on that number.
Great thought, Randy. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to thank you guys. I think you've just saved me enough time to make at least 10 more calls every day just by not doing the research I need to do until they're physically coming in.
Great.
That's a great aha. Who else?
Hey, I love the drip campaign, the drip campaign that you've given us to go after these guys, Beth. It's great.
Perfect.
I actually just sat here and went through our association and noticed that there were some more cappers that went up in the capper status that I didn't recognize last month. So I just have a new hit list.
Excellent.
Anybody else? Great ahas, guys. And by the way, go to the Facebook page. If you have questions, you can shoot some questions there. You can email me, rich@rectorrecruiting.com, and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, on the 5th, same time, same place, we'll have our next call. Bring your wins, bring your questions, your successes, your challenges, and we'll mastermind with the best team leaders in the company on Friday. Okay, guys?
All right, Rich. Hey, man, I really appreciate you taking your time today, and I know I speak for everybody when I say that, so thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Good luck.
All right.
Thanks, Rich.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.